If you want to start running barefoot but are unsure where to begin in fear of overdoing it and getting hurt, the best place to start is to understand that the feet need a lot of catching up to do in terms of developing functional strength. This is why the best approach is the incremental approach when it comes to running barefoot for the first time. With that in mind, here is a safe and sensible, study proven barefoot running training plan that will help you really ease into barefoot running without strife. You can do this training plan while you are still doing your regular runs in shoes. For week 1, walk barefoot for 9 minutes and then run barefoot for 1 minute on smooth pavement or on a track, not on grass. Repeat this 3 times. For week 2, walk barefoot for 8 minutes and then run barefoot for 2 minutes on smooth pavement or on a track, not on grass. Repeat this 3 times. You can clearly see a pattern here, and so for the following weeks, you want to increase your barefoot running time by 1 minute and then decrease your barefoot walking time by 1 minute. Now, what pace should you be running barefoot at? Run barefoot at your regular pace or a tad faster. In this case, you never want to jog really slow and sluggish because you thud more with the ground and tend to land with greater downward force because it's as if you are idling in brake mode. You have to remember that forefoot running is for faster running. And of course, when you are barefoot, you want to be landing with a forefoot strike, not a heel strike. The faster you run with the forefoot strike landing when you're barefoot or in barefoot-like shoes, your stride tends to really smooth out because the jerk force and jarring force both significantly reduces. So many impact force variables aren't actually amplified at faster running speeds when you run with a forefoot strike. So try to keep up a very good pace, not too slow, but you don't want to go all out into a sprint either. Also notice that all this barefoot running should be done on smoother, harder surfaces like smooth pavement or on a track, not grass. This is because barefoot running on grass does not produce the same sensory effects that really may enable you to fully override the mistake of landing heel first or heel striking, whereas there's really good scientific reason to run barefoot on smooth, harder surfaces because the surface hardness supplies more sensory information that leads to you making quicker adaptations in landing with much less downward force and helps you keep in line a forefoot strike landing pattern that's better positioned to your center of mass or your torso. You also get a better sense of forces acting on your ankle, knee, and hip joints, and this heightened sensory awareness makes you even better at landing lighter and removing your foot off the ground more quickly, which taken together are mechanical outputs proven to be low impact and may make a big positive difference economically. And the facts about all this is what I've gathered from the literature, and I've posted down below the video in the description box a link to a playlist to my videos where I talk at great lengths about the research showing that when you run barefoot on harder surfaces, you become prone to making mechanical modifications that make it easier for you to avoid high impact landings and can advance rapidly faster reaction times, greater stride control, higher reflexive engagements, giving you a stronger tendency to help you assemble more functional mechanics that give you real protections against excessive impacts at landing, as well as higher rates of loading. And these essential developments have a lot of staying power for when you do run in shoes, so essentially it makes you a better shod runner. I've also linked down below the video in the description box drills you may want to do barefoot or in barefoot-like shoes that will enhance neuromuscular function, improve muscular control, and help advance your overall mechanical effectiveness. Do those drills down a 60-meter to an 80-meter stretch of smooth pavement or a track and repeat them 3 times, twice a week. You can increase or decrease the number of intervals based on how you feel. Always remember to listen to your body. If you feel pain, scale it back until you feel 100%. But speaking of pain, if you do run into shin pain or knee pain when you are running barefoot, I'm going to talk about 5 key mechanical adjustments you may really want to consider making because they have proven to help correct mechanical imbalances, reduce economic costs on the muscles, prevents postural sway, and prevents overstraining on the lower leg. And I've linked a video down in the description box to each mechanical tweak I'm going to briefly describe. The first tweak is to widen your step width or stance when you run, so avoid running with crossover footsteps. Try to make sure that your right foot lands directly under your right hip and that your left foot lands directly under your left hip. You don't want your feet to land across the midline. The second tweak is to remember to lean slightly forward and avoid running too upright, because running too upright may shift your center of mass too far behind your initial foot strike position, which in turn may increase the intensity and the duration of the break force period. So try to maintain a very subtle forward tilt, which also helps reduce the urge to push off with your foot. Thirdly, never make initial ground contact on your big toe. Rather, you want to make initial ground contact towards the outer side of your forefoot, just under the fifth and fourth toe. Number 4, make sure that you are landing much lower on your forefoot and not super high up on the toes, because landing too high up on the toes will shred your calves and could lead to an Achilles tendon injury. And last but not least, keep your hands close to your heart and swing your arms towards the midline. The closer your hands are kept to your heart. Now, don't worry about sticking your elbows out a little too far, because actually that's how most East African distance runners run. They tend to swing their elbows out a little far. Keeping your hands close to your chest helps pull your landing foot in to land closer to your center of mass. And it actually helps you lean forward with greater ease. Again, I've linked to the videos explaining in detail each of those 5 mechanical traits that I just outlined that can really help you avoid damaging impact burdens altogether. Finally, and most essential, starting right now, your primary focus should be to walk barefoot as much as possible, especially on uneven surfaces, because doing so really keeps the feet functionally strong and very capable of handling high mileage. Most of the growth in your foot's functional strength is going to come from the sensory input stimulating the bare underfoot. Not to mention, your toes now have the full participation to splay out, grip, extend, and flex, which is ultimately the best, most stable way to really connect with the ground. Aside from running barefoot, walking barefoot also increases the fat pad volume throughout the foot, affording you more layers of impact protection. Moreover, being barefoot also increases arch height profile, whereby a healthy arch height profile is directly involved in delivering the type of sensory energy from the feet that supports the economic strength that may help you go as many miles as you want to go with greater ease. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up button as well as the subscribe button if you haven't already, where you will get more informed on the evidence-based information regarding the hot button debate, forefoot strike running versus heel strike running. And of course, you can support Run Forefoot through PayPal as well, which is also linked down below the video in the description box. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have fun out there on the roads and trails. Bye for now.